doesn't matter if we're building a four-wheel drive, or we're building a pickup truck, or a hot rod. Week 1, you do metal work. Week 2, body plastic, sanding, blocking, fitting.
We might need a couple screws. Yep, come on up. That's the way she goes.
And we paint the chassis, motor and tranny, and put that back in.
And by the progress they're making, the Ford looks to be ahead of schedule. But you'll never hear build leader Tim Strange say that. With our new small block from Ford Racing come new accessories, which Tim does like to talk about.
Power the Ford Racing 302, Edelbrock donated a whole bunch of stuff. They sent us the Thunder Series ABS carburetor and 650 CFM, and we're gonna bolt that right up to their Performer RPM air gap manifold. Everything's done in the EnduraShine coating, so it looks like chrome, cleans up easy, and lasts a long time.
The engine is buttoned up with the new components, while the cab and other parts make their way to the paint booth for something even Nostradamus couldn't predict.
And something crazy happened today. Man, it was like we got hit with 1.21 gigawatts, both me and Ian in paint suits with respirators on, spraying. They weren't self-propelled. We both had air hoses on and we were spraying at the same time. It was awesome.
Once the rip in the space-time continuum was back to normal, Tim finishes off the firewall with an Alice Chalmers tractor cream, chosen from the DuPont Spectra Master Chart.
Thanks, guys. You guys were awesome. Worked hard, most of you.
I think it's a pretty cool little truck. I wouldn't mind owning that.
Before the weekends, we connect with our truck owner and his family via live video conferencing.
Hey Shane, how you doing today?
Good, how are you guys today?
Everybody, this is Shane Scanato, his girlfriend Amy, and their boy Xavier. This is week 2 of the build. This is the second crew we've had in here. We got the guys from Hot Rod Garage that came all the way from Maryland, and we got a whole car club called the Road Kings that came from Indiana to work on your truck for you.
Thank you.
So we got this guy here. He might look a little familiar to you. How you doing, Shane?
Good, how are you doing, Ian?
I'm surviving. You're making me do body work. No, we're not making him do body work. That's for your benefit. We want to do it once and be done with it. We don't want to have to redo it. So here's your truck. That's what it looked like when we came and got it that day. And it looked like it was a little far along. And we're thinking, man, this is going to be one of the easiest builds we've ever done. But no, again, not so much. So here's some pictures we've been taking while we were doing week 1. We had Jason Anderson come in and he spent 3 days grinding body putty out of those panels. Man, there was places it was like 1 inch thick.
There's really that much body filler in there?
That's not snow on the ground in the tech center. That's body putty dust ground out of just those 2 fenders. And somebody here had a good idea what to do. They cut out a whole bunch of rust. Well, then they just got tired and must have not had a welder, so they just filled that full of body putty too. So if we wouldn't have tore into this thing, we would have just put fresh paint or wet sand and polished that stuff. Once you started driving it, it would have shook loose, it would have cracked, and there was some metal on top of metal, and it would have caused accelerated rust, and that would not have been good. This is our second week. We're like halfway through week 2. You want to see what the truck looks like right now?
Of course.
Wheel her in, boys. This is what we got right now. Here's that old motor that everybody's so sentimentally attached to. And you could tell this thing's like a lumber wagon, because I actually think it was a lumber wagon. Big heavy wheels, bias ply, no suspension travel, manual shift, 14 drive shafts all hooked together. I think there's some pop cans on the exhaust holding it together.
Remember, that was a work truck. That was his work truck. It wasn't a show truck.
You want to know what parts of this we're actually using?
Well, you can use what works.
Nope, we ain't using none of this.
That's what I wanted. I wanted a frame off restoration. I knew you guys would do it right.
We're gonna save this for Uncle Fletch. We figure he'll have a use for it somehow. So we got a whole lot of work left to do, so we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
I'd like to thank all you guys. We really appreciate it. It means a whole lot to our families. I really appreciate all the time and effort that you guys are putting forth. It really means a lot. Thank you.
Okay, we'll see you later. We're gonna get back to work.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks, fellas.
Bye, guys.
Next, a whole new group of volunteers show up at the tech center to showcase their high-end skills for our deserving owner. Stay tuned.
Focus! You gotta focus. Can you see me?
New week, new crew. Tim's pep talk is simple.
Doing work. We got a whole new crew in here, fresh bunch of guys ready to work. We're gonna do some wet sanding and get some color on this baby, and then paint, polish it, a little bit of assembly at the end of the week.
Luckily, this group's got boundless energy. No matter what the task.
Actually, 5 of the 8 guys this week came from Texas, driving over 10, 12 hours just to come and help. We got a guy that's been here before from Oklahoma, perfect. Even a guy from Ohio and South Carolina.
I wonder how many times I've done this in my life. I could commit a crime, I don't have any fingerprints.
There's just one bit of prep left before heading to paint. Wet sanding with 500 grit paper. The water helps clear the sanding residue from the surface for an even, smooth finish. To take care of the bed, Tim called in Andy Stapp, a versatile artist who's happiest with an airbrush gun in his hand.
Gotta keep an eye on those airbrush guys. They're always wanting to stick in an airbrush skull, flaming something, or a dragon someplace.
For now, at least, Andy will have to settle for laying down some DuPont Chroma Premier Sealer, which helps the paint adhere while leveling out the finish. Plus, this shade of gray hides well under the top coat. And the color scheme?
I still want him to think of his grandpa and his dad when he drives this truck. That's why we kept the same colors. Everybody says, and we get it on video, that we can do whatever we want with their vehicle. But this one's a little harder to plan than some of these ones we get free reign.
The Tractor Cream accents the two-tone finish and will make the chrome pieces in the engine bay really pop.
So it doesn't matter how good the painter is. If the prep work wasn't done right before, when the painter gets ready to put his shine on it, it ain't gonna look right. So we worked hard the week before to get it straight. When the painters come in and put that super nice black down and we sand it and buff it, it's gonna look awesome.
The second color of our two-tone scheme is this deep black top coat, since green and black were the family's original color choices. The gang winds down their busy day and lets the paint cure overnight.
So we came in early the next morning, pulled stuff out of the booth, and immediately seen a couple prep issues. Got a couple things on the running boards I'm not happy with. We'll fix that. Paint it's minor. Luckily it's a solid color, that then we don't have to worry about metallics or anything matching weird.
But right now, the project must move on, and fresh pieces of metal roll into the booth. Shooting the cab are 2 veteran painters, Chris Ryan and Tony Cano. Tony's shop, Evo Time Customs, offers full restorations and specializes in high-end body and paint work. Whether it's got 4 wheels or 2, he'll transform it into something unique. Even his coffee table's got more style than your average daily driver. Tony's favorite project? This 66 Nova 2 with a candy apple top coat over a black base.
When you can see that perfect finish and you can see your reflection and read the letters off your shirt, it's always a nice feeling. You can take it anywhere, and that's the first thing that's going to catch everybody's attention.
For Chris Ryan, body work is an obsession. Since 2002, Ryan's Rod & Custom has created everything from all original restorations to handcrafted customs. He spent over a year modifying the metal on this 1948 Cadillac. Handmade inner fenders, sectioned hood, Frenched headlights, at least 40 modifications in all. Many modern components, like a Fatman front end and an LS1 engine, hide under its vintage exterior. Chris loves classic style, but says there's no comparison between old technology and new.
We all think old cars handled and rode and drove better than they actually did. I mean, they didn't stop good, they didn't handle good, they just didn't do anything good, they just looked good.
Chris and Tony move fast to finish up major painting in the booth. They better hurry, because just outside these doors, an impatient crew waits to start working again. Coming up, the interior gets treated to a tuck and roll and some custom touches when Search and Restore continues.
Look, ready? It's like a funhouse mirror.
Watch. Regular size Ian, slender Ian.
I'm Kevin. I have no neck, I'm Ian.
I like that.
The project keeps progressing as the truck rolls out and the parts keep rolling in.
So I keep saying traditional and street rod a lot, and this is exactly another one of those items. This is a retro steering column from Limeworks. It's not a tilt wheel, it's a straight traditional style with an exposed shift rod to make it look even better. Shift on the column. It's got a really cool lock mechanism to keep it in park, ribbed aluminum turning signals, just like the old cars had. Column drop modeled off a 39 Ford, and they make a reproduction steering wheel that looks like a 40 Ford wheel. It's even got the V8 logo to match the wheels. For the wheels on this, I wanted a set of artillery wheels. So we called up Wheelsmith. They make these artillery, which is a wheel that they made back in the 30s and 40s for pickup trucks, but they make them in modern sizes. We got polished hoops, chrome center caps, and we're gonna paint the wheel centers to match the engine compartment.
Tim enlists the help of volunteer Doug Pekar to prep and paint the wheels. Doug has a passion for classic cars and trucks, especially ones that have a sentimental value.
I think it's real important to keep every classic vehicle going as long as we can. One day it's going to come around where it's not going to be there anymore, and it's our job to preserve the hobby the best we can and keep them around for generations to come.
With Doug finishing up the wheels, Tim wheels out his trusty cart to begin buffing.
Welcome back to Muscle Car TV, boys. Today we're going to teach you how to change your fuzzy tennis balls on the end of your walker.
All joking aside, buffing is some serious work.
Yep, looking real good right there. Let me see that right there.
When you're looking down on the hood and it's outside, you see all the little pretty birdies flying over and all the clouds. It's just awesome.
While Tim reflects on Mother Nature, Julio Tornero and JT Sanchez get to work updating the interior. They'll be using the original bench seat with more durable and modern synthetic leather, but with an ageless design.
We're doing a traditional old school style pleat. It's called tuck and roll, to where the stitch is hidden. A little more work than the regular, but it looks a lot better in the end. Matches this truck perfectly.
They'll be working beside Nick Turney and Chris Robinson from New South Motorsports, who volunteered their high-end skills for audio and video.
We're going to take the Ford lettering on this 1948 Ford pickup, and we're going to airbrush that lettering to look like chrome. What I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a transfer paper, and I'm basically going to press it over this Ford lettering until I can get that to actually start to appear. And then what I'll do is I'll razor blade this out. I can have a real distinct, very nice and sharp lined Ford lettering when this effect is airbrushed. And this here is our finished product, the chrome shop via the airbrush.
And since the only limits are to one's imagination, Andy moves to the cab.
We're going to go in here and we're going to airbrush this entire dash and this upper windshield area to replicate the wood that's going to be in the back of the bed of the pickup. We think it'll be a really neat, cool final effect. I think it'll balance out the entire piece of the vehicle together. It'll be a neat ooh-aw factor on the final reveal when they come in and they see this actual wood grain effect that matches the bed. I think it'll be a really neat effect.
From a wood grain effect to the real deal, the cab and bed are mounted for good.
Some more washers.
In order to let Jeff Major from Bedwood and Parts do his thing.
I wanted a good American wood just to go with the build and that style. And I started looking at ash. Ash is the same wood that's used to make the Louisville Slugger baseball bat. It's very tough, it's very durable. This truck was a work truck. And so this wood can be worked. We're gonna mock the wood up by going into installing it, make sure everything's lined up correctly. We're going to mark where the cross members need to be drilled to accept the new bolts for the hidden fastener bed strips. Then we're going to pop the wood back out, do their finish on it, and the finish we're going to apply to it today is a penetrating oil finish called our Easy Rub. That also easy to maintain. It's good for a work truck. And then do the final install. So it's an opportunity to give back. We've been blessed in being able to just work in this industry, do something we're passionate about, something we love. And so when it's a project with a history like this and we have an opportunity to be a part of it and give something back to that, to me it's just an honor to be considered for that.
Just how easy is it to build a classic from a catalog? Find out next.
Well, what we're about to do here is install this boom mat to quieten down some of the cab noise and help with some of the heat from the exhaust and keep everything quiet and cool inside the cab. I'm laying the boom. I like the cars that go boom.
Temperatures in Philly run the gamut, from hot summer swelter to 4-foot blizzards. Climate control is key. Vintage Air donated one of their universal fit systems for year-round comfort. The small size of the heat and air unit makes it easy to fit under the dash. Of the 200 pieces donated to this build by LMC, most are solid metal, but some, like this rear window, are much more fragile and must be packaged very carefully. For over 30 years, people have trusted LMC to deliver the parts they need for their truck in mint condition and on time. A warehouse filled with 30,000 parts and a fully staffed support team help make any project easier. But LMC's calling card has to be their catalog, which for many builders serves as their restoration guide.
We go to car shows, guys will come up and say, hey, I use your guys' catalog. It's like a Bible to me. It tells me everything I need to know, plus I use it as an installation guide. How does this thing go back together?
Installing the windshield in Shane's 48 are Doug Pekar and Tim Hazy.
We'll put the rope in the rubber seal and get the glass set in there, and then we'll gently pull the rope out, getting the seal to drape over the edges, and then we'll tap the glass in and get a proper seal. Working with glass could be a very tricky operation. You always got to be careful. Any small mistake could be very costly.
Tim caught the car bug the day he stepped behind the wheel of his first ride, a 61 GMC. His dad gave him inspiration to open up his own shop, where he hopes someday his son will follow in his footsteps.
I think it's just the biggest thing of being away from my family right now. That's the toughest thing. But to help another family out, it's all worth it.
Helping this family fulfill their dreams and get this truck properly restored makes me feel great. And I know next week when the family comes down, Shane's father will be looking down with a big smile on his face.
On the front end, the crew installs Mallory Pro spark plug wires for the Unilite distributor and ignition coils. Then drops in the PowerMaster alternator. Next, a March Performance serpentine system. Finally, the master cylinder and reservoir for an engine bay full of chrome and high performance.
Okay, go back now. Looks really good. I can start putting the radiator, the fans, the AC condenser in.
This custom-made rad from US Radiator will tame the 340 horses from our engine. Plus, the brass finish has got more 40s style than Humphrey Bogart's Fedora.
Into week 3, we're getting done what we have to do. Each day I put more stuff on the list and it gets you raced off.
And with the installation of a Dynotech all-aluminum drive shaft, our project gets one step closer to being done.
I always think that we're behind schedule, but we're actually doing pretty good. Just don't tell the guys.